Welcome to our haunting video. Brace yourself for an in-depth exploration into the dark and sinister life of one of history's most infamous serial killers. Andrei Chikatilo was born in the village of Yabloknoye in what is now Ukraine. He grew up during the harsh years of Soviet famine and World War II, witnessing immense suffering and violence. Chikatilo had a troubled childhood, with his mother allegedly exposing him to the brutal executions of his older brother and other villagers during the war. This early exposure to violence and the effects of war would later be speculated to have influenced his future actions. Crimes. Between 1978 and 1990, Andrei Chikatilo committed a horrifying spree of sexual assaults, mutilations, and murders. His victims were mainly women and children, and he often targeted young runaways and homeless individuals who were unlikely to be missed. Chikatilo's modus operandi involved luring his victims to secluded areas where he would sexually assault, mutilate, and murder them. His sadistic tendencies involved stabbing, strangulation, and other violent acts, and he would often remove body parts or organs post-mortem. Chikatilo's crimes were marked by extreme brutality and a disturbing escalation in violence over time, capture, and legal proceedings. For many years, Chikatilo eluded capture due to various reasons, including errors in the investigation and the fact that he had no known criminal record. However, in 1990, he was finally arrested by Russian authorities after DNA evidence linked him to the crime scenes. He was found guilty of 53 murders and formally charged with 53 counts of murder, as well as various other charges related to his crimes. Death. On February 14, 1994, Andrei Chikatilo was executed by a single gunshot to the back of the head in Rostov-on-Don, Russia. His execution was carried out after he was convicted and sentenced to death in October 1992. Psychological profile. Andrei Chikatilo's psychological profile revealed a deeply disturbed individual with psychopathic and sadistic tendencies. His crimes were driven by an intense urge for power, control, and sexual gratification. His violent acts were characterized by a desire to inflict pain and mutilation on his victims, reflecting his profound lack of empathy and remorse. Legacy. Andrei Chikatilo's reign of terror left an indelible mark on the history of Soviet and Russian criminality. His case sparked debates about the mental health system's failings and the need for improved law enforcement cooperation to track and apprehend serial killers. His story has been the subject of books, documentaries, and films, continuing to captivate and horrify audiences worldwide. We also presented a couple theories about what drove his character and his crimes. Early trauma and the development of sadistic tendencies. One theory regarding Andrei Chikatilo's violent nature traces back to his traumatic childhood experiences during World War I. Witnessing brutal executions and enduring extreme hardships during the war could have deeply affected him psychologically. It is possible that these traumatic events led to the formation of sadistic tendencies, causing him to develop a fascination with violence and death from an early age. As he grew older, these tendencies may have manifested into a desire to exert power and control over others through his gruesome and brutal acts. Compensatory psychopathy theory. Another theory revolves around the idea of compensatory psychopathy. Chikatilo's childhood experiences and potential feelings of powerlessness during his formative years might have contributed to the development of a compensatory psychopathic personality. In adulthood, he may have sought to regain control and dominance by preying on vulnerable individuals. The act of killing and mutilating his victims might have provided him with a sense of empowerment and superiority, momentarily alleviating the feelings of inadequacy he might have harbored within himself. It is important to note that these theories are speculative and cannot fully explain the complexities of Andrei Chikatilo's actions. The motivations behind serial killers often involve a combination of various psychological, social, and environmental factors, and comprehending the true depths of their minds may remain an enigma. The theories above aim to shed light on potential factors that may have contributed to his monstrous behavior, but definitive answers may never be known. Speculating on what would have happened if Andrei Chikatilo hadn't existed involves contemplating a hypothetical scenario that can never be definitively known. However, we can explore some potential outcomes: lives saved. If Andrei Chikatilo hadn't existed, the lives of his victims would have been spared. Over the span of more than a decade, he committed at least 53 known murders, mostly of women and children. Without his presence, these individuals would have had the opportunity to live their lives to their fullest potential, free from the horror and brutality they suffered at his hands. Their families and loved ones would have been spared the unimaginable grief and trauma caused by his crimes. Prevention of future crimes. Chikatilo's capture and removal from society prevented further acts of violence and murder by his hands. His absence would have disrupted the cycle of his killings, sparing potential future victims from falling prey to his sadistic tendencies. Impact on Russian society and criminal justice. Chikatilo's arrest and subsequent trial had a profound impact on Russian society. His case raised awareness about the dangers of serial killers and highlighted the need for improved cooperation among law enforcement agencies in investigating such cases. If Chikatilo hadn't existed, it is possible that this particular period of heightened awareness and scrutiny might have been delayed or directed towards other criminal cases. Understanding serial killers. Chikatilo's case contributed to the field of criminology's understanding of serial killers and their motivations. The study of his psychological profile and the factors that drove him to commit such heinous acts has provided valuable insights into the mind of a serial killer. If he hadn't existed, the knowledge gained from his case might have been obtained through other sources, although the specifics would vary. Media and cultural impact. Chikatilo's case garnered significant media attention both in Russia and internationally. Documentaries, books, and films inspired by his life contributed to public fascination with true crime stories. If he hadn't existed, the specific cultural impact surrounding his story might have been different, with attention shifting to other notorious criminals. It is important to remember that any speculation about alternative outcomes is purely hypothetical. Andrei Chikatilo's crimes caused immense pain and suffering, and our focus should remain on the victims and their families. Understanding the potential implications of his absence helps highlight the ripple effects of his actions, but it is impossible to fully grasp the intricacies of what might have transpired in a world without his crimes. Thank you for joining us on this chilling journey into the dark realm of serial killers. We hope this video has provided you with valuable insights and a deeper understanding of these complex and haunting figures. If you found this content thought-provoking and informative, we would greatly appreciate your likes, comments, and shares.